Kev G with a weather overview on historic Hurricane Dorian. This is a Category 5 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson scale. It is a ferocious storm. It is one of the strongest storms to ever hit the northwest Bahamas. Maximum sustained winds right now are 180 miles an hour, with gusts as high as 200 miles an hour. It is moving at a painfully slow 7 miles an hour. It's just mind-boggling, very hard to believe. This storm is now in the company of Katrina, Rita, all the ferocious hurricanes that formed during the 2005 season. It is just a remarkable yet incredibly powerful and destructive storm, and areas in the northern Bahamas are going to suffer greatly due to the effects of this hurricane, and they are getting it right now, folks. And one can only imagine what it is like inside the eye wall of Hurricane Dorian. It is a destructive, ferocious hurricane, and it is about as bad as you could possibly get. Now, the difficulty in forecasting this storm is, for Florida that is due to the geographical considerations as well as the slow forward motion of the storm itself. And I've been posting about this on Facebook, but I wanted to show graphically what I mean. And last night, I was thinking to myself, they really should focus on the day 1 through 3 cone of uncertainty, that is. And I think that networks like the Weather Channel have started to do that. If we take a look at the National Hurricane Center's track, what I did was I labeled it a little bit, and I broke it down into a few things. The Hurricane Watch that's currently in effect for the Florida coast is located in purple. Again, if you want to know if you're in the Hurricane Watch, please go to the National Weather Service website. The tropical storm warning is the area in blue. I labeled that. And we take a look at the hurricane's present position, which is on the right side of the cone, and then the day 1 through 3 cone is broken up from the day 3 through 5 cone. But you can see that over the next 3 days, what a challenge this is going to be to forecast. And, in such proximity to the coast, it really is a scary situation. Now, the National Hurricane Center's forecast is for the strongest winds to stay offshore, but unfortunately, an error on their part of 20 to 30 miles or so would greatly influence the path of the hurricane. Not only that, it would also influence the path of the strongest winds. So that's why there's a hurricane watch in effect for portions of the east coast of Florida near Cape Canaveral. And to give you an idea of how complicated this situation is, I'm not even going to really look at areas further north than Florida at this time. I will touch on areas further north just a little bit, but I wanted to show you the GFS model for this afternoon's run. And with the storm moving at only 7 miles an hour, this is the complicating factors with respect to the overall forecast over the next 2 to 3 days. So here we are with the initial position of the ferocious hurricane, and we can see that the storm really doesn't move all that much by Monday morning. It's still crawling along, and yes, it is starting to gain a little bit of northern latitude, but every wobble, every twist, every turn is going to be highly consequential in this scenario, so that by Monday afternoon, Monday night, it still has its influence over the northern Bahama Islands. Now, as we get into early Tuesday morning, the storm very slowly crawls its way closer and closer to the Space Coast of Florida, so that by Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night, if the GFS is right, we have a storm that's just offshore, and it would cause tropical storm conditions, and but I don't think that the actual hurricane would make it onshore. But you can see how perilously close that is. And if you look back at the cone of uncertainty that we just looked at, you can't take this at face value. You have to watch it pretty much every step of the way. And that's why this is such an incredibly difficult forecast with all the parameters involved, with all the factors that are involved. This is just one of those situations where it really is an hour-by-hour scenario. So if you're on the Florida coast, at the very least, you're already getting severe beach erosion. You're getting the damaging storm surge just by the proximity of the hurricane itself to your coastline. So for areas that are most affected right on the shore, these conditions are going to continue with moderate to severe coastal flooding. But the winds, I think that if you're trying to figure out whether the winds are going to affect you for hurricane conditions, it's just one of those situations where if you're in the hurricane watch area, you should monitor the situation hour by hour, watch your local forecasts, and stay tuned. I'll try to do another video late tonight on any changes that I see with respect to the hurricane. This is a powerful storm and one that should not be taken lightly.